What is going on, guys? Dylan here until the last credit, and today I'm going to be doing a kind of retro review like Will did a week or two ago on Forrest Gump, except I'm going to be doing it on The Godfather. Now, if you didn't know, The Godfather is directed by Francis Ford Coppola, and it's about the Corleones and their affairs as a organized crime family. Now, I had never watched this movie in full. I had seen bits and pieces of it before, but I had never watched the entire thing. And yesterday, I got the chance to. And so I did, and I really enjoyed it. I don't think it's God's gift to cinema like some people think, and I wouldn't call it a masterpiece because there's one negative that I have that keeps me from calling it a masterpiece, but we'll get to that later. But anyways, I really liked it. I loved it, in fact. The thing that stands out to me the most about The Godfather, I think, is the direction. Francis Ford Coppola does such a great job of capturing the 50s that I actually had to remind myself that this movie was not filmed in the 50s and that it came out in 1972 because of how well he captures that period. And every shot in this movie is interesting. There's no just shot, reverse shot. To get down to the specifics in the cinematography, there's one thing I wanted to talk about in particular, and that's how there's a couple of scenes in this movie where Don Corleone or Michael Corleone is talking to another member of a different family, you know, like another member of a different, like, mafia family or whatever. And the way Francis Ford Coppola frames the shot is like Don Corleone or Michael Corleone are on the same level as the other person, but he frames the shot in a way that makes it look like Michael or Don are above the person that they're talking to, and it's really interesting, and you can really see the imagery there, and it's pretty cool. You know, some people today, younger people that watch The Godfather, might say that, oh, the violence, it doesn't look really realistic, it looks stupid. And I mean, I completely disagree with that. Even today, I think the violence in this movie still holds up, and for 1972, it was an achievement in cinema, really. Because most directors at that time, in the 70s and before, usually with violence, they would usually just cut away to avoid having to use practical effects and fake blood, to avoid having to go through that trouble. Francis Ford Coppola does not avoid this because there's a lot of violence in this movie, and for 1972 it was super realistic. Especially, well, spoilers if you haven't seen it, but especially Sonny's death scene in particular. Like, that is hard to film, that is hard to do, using completely practical effects. That was pretty incredible for 1972, and I think it still holds up today. Another thing Francis Ford Coppola does really well in this movie is balancing all the plot lines properly. Well, maybe except for one, but we'll get to that in a minute. But for the most part, he balances all the plot lines properly and does it really well. Another thing I love about this movie is the actual Oscar-winning writing. All the dialogue is interesting, and all the characters are fantastic. They're set up well, and you care about them even though they're pretty bad people. And of course, the acting, this goes without saying, is great. Marlon Brando's performance as Don Corleone, he won an Oscar for it, he definitely deserved it. Al Pacino as Michael Corleone is great. Everyone in this movie is great. There's not a single flaw in the acting. Most of everything about this movie is great. I could go on and on. Editing, production design, art direction, sound editing, sound mixing, everything. Most of everything is great, except for one thing that I really had a problem with, and that's Michael's entire trip to Italy and that entire subplot with him getting married to that girl. It's completely pointless. It serves no purpose in the movie, and their relationship is not set up very well. They get married in about 2 weeks, and then his wife ends up dying because of an assassination attempt that was on Michael, but his wife ended up dying because they blew up the car. And we're not really given any reason to care about his wife other than she's married to Michael. And this entire subplot that's in the movie is never brought up again and has no real effect at all on the movie. Has no effect on Michael as a character. It's never brought up again. And then when he actually gets back from Italy, he ends up marrying his girlfriend from when he was home before he left Italy. And this is kind of weird because I don't even think he really liked her. He wouldn't even tell her that he loved her, and he wouldn't really do anything with her before he left Italy. Then he came back and just wants to marry her. So that was kind of weird. So the entire subplot with him getting married in Italy was weird. That entire sequence could have been cut down a lot, and him coming back and falling in love with or marrying Kay was kind of weird. But that was really my only problems with the movie. Other than that, it is incredible. If you haven't seen it, go watch it. It's a quintessential film for any cinema lover. So make sure you go watch it if you haven't seen it. But thank you guys for watching. If you have seen The Godfather, tell me what you thought of it in the comments below. If you like this video, make sure you leave a like and go check out all of our other videos. Make sure you check out our website, tillthelastcredit.com, and go follow us on Twitter @tillthelastcredit. But until next time, guys, Dylan from Till the Last Credit signing off.